this customer that we're working with right now, he has a 30-foot rib that he used for whale watching, tours, and chartering. He goes 50, 60, 70 miles out. And he has two outboard that he has had on this vessel for probably about 20 years. And with tourists, you want to make sure you're in tip-top shape. You cannot afford to have outboards breaking down or dying out on you on the sea. You want safety, you want reliability, and you want durability. Hi, my name is David Durant, and I'm the service and sales rep for the Industrial Marine Department, and I'm also the tech advisor. I've been working in the department for 14 years now. I'm responsible for the product and sales of the outboards, Yamaha bikes, and all Yamaha products. So in order for us to find the proper solution for this customer, we first have to look at the length of the boat that the customer has, the width of the boat, and the height of the hull. All right, so with outboards, you want to get a perfect power to weight ratio. All right, but it's not only that. The application that the customer wants to use the outboard for is a commercial application. So you want to recommend a commercial applicable outboard, meaning that outboard can be going out there for long hours of operation. Second, you want to have an outboard that is very good on fuel consumption. So this is why we're recommending the 4-stroke. The 4-stroke is very, very good on fuel, because at the end of the day, it's a business that the customer have, and it's in business to make profit. You don't want an outboard going out there and you just burn a whole bunch of fuel, and then you're not making enough profit because the money that you make goes back into the fuel. So we recommend a 4-stroke outboard that is very good on fuel consumption. Also, what we want to do is give him an outboard that are going to give enough power and enough speed to reach out there at maximum time, so he can do like 3 or 4 trips for the day, and he can go further and stay longer if he have to. So the 254 stroke was what we recommended. It was suited for that purpose, and this is what the customer is going with. So what we did there was to establish the distance between both engines to ensure that we have enough clearance so the engines can turn without having to touch one another. And we have enough space that the technician eventually can go in between and do his servicing and whatnot he has to do. Once we have that established, that we have the correct distance, then we get our center line for both engines in order to get our markings so we can drill the hole so we can mount the engines. Not pretty. Yeah. Hold up for me. Go. Pass it up. They're going tight. Go. Yeah. All right, so this process that we're doing there is a process you have to take your time to do. Now, with a plate, because Yamaha has a plate that you can use, which will give you the precise dimensions that you need and will draw your hose exact for you. But without the plate, you have to do precise measurement, measure twice, measure 3 times, 4 times to get right if necessary. Because what you don't want is for you to install the engine and it's not symmetric behind the boat, you will not have the boat running the way it's supposed to run. Alright, Jen, what you gonna do? You're gonna come up and you're gonna come on that side. Keep it to you. Yeah, a little too all you. Right? No, too much. Way too much. We have accomplished our template and our distance, and right now we have marked our hole for drilling. So what we're going to do is pull back the engine out and then drill and then come back and put the engine for installation. Drop. Get it on the bolt. So what we're doing now is just fabricating a piece of metal to make a reinforcement, a brace for the back to provide extra support because of the weight of the engine. We just want to make sure we have extra security so that we don't have no problems in terms of the engine bursting in the back of the boat. So what I'm doing here now is applying sealant. We use Marine 5200 silicone. This is for extra sealing to prevent water from going into the hole. So we apply it through the holes there before you put the bolts in. So it will seal the hole for water not to go there to create rot into the back of the boat. So you want to apply sealant to seal that off properly. So I'm just applying it here. So when I place the plate, you have some protection for water not to go behind of the plate and keep moisture there and create rots. So that will also keep the bolts locked in place. So during the vibration of the engine, it will not cause the bolt to, kind of unscrew and fall out and cause your engine to fall into the water. So that is a very good thing to use at all times. Go up. It's coming. Go. Stop. Yeah. Bottom. Let's bring below in, so that silicone can stretch equally, evenly. So we have completed the installation of the starboard side of the engine. So the next phase is to install the port side engine. And when we're done installing the port side engine, then we're going to do all the connection and the wiring. And then we'll do finalizing the adjustments on the cables. The next stage is to start the engine. So we have completed the process of installing both outboards behind of the boat. As you can see that we have installed the metal plates for extra support. And we're in the stage now of rigging the outboard by installing the harness. So we have the harness cables here. We have the harness cables here, and then we have the cable here for communication to the computer there to the outboard. And then we're going to cover it all up with some trunking, and that is to give you extra safety so that you can protect the wiring so that you don't get too much seawater and sea blast. I'm cutting an opening in there so I can run the fuel hose from outside, because what I don't want to do is run the electrical cables together with the fuel hose there, so you know fire and fuel doesn't go together. So we have completed the rigging on one of the outboards, and we're going to move to the next outboard. And once we're done with the next one, we're going to go to the console to connect all the wires. And after that, we have to connect some speed sensors and water temperature sensors on the outboards. And once we've done that, then we're going to set the outboards on the tachometer gauge, and then we are ready for the testing stages of the outboard. So right now we are at the final stages of the rigging of the outboards. Alright, so we have completed the installation of the both engines, and we have completed the rigging. All the wiring is completed. We're going to do a pre-delivery inspection. We call it a PDI, and what it is that we inspecting the engine before test run. Alright, so we want to make sure that everything is working. It's going in gear, forward, reverse, it's trimming up and down. There are no oil leaks. The engine is cranking up, and the RPM is stable. So we want to do that on land before we put it into the water. So when we reach the water, we're not expecting any problems in terms of electrical failure or engine failure. And then we're going to do an after test run inspection.
Right.